You're now tuned into the Chenelle Nicole Show. It's your girl, Chenelle Nicole, and my special guest host,
Diamond K from around the way.
DJ Diamond K. You used to always correct me, talking I'm a DJ.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I did.
DJ Diamond K from around
the way. Put in many
years
behind the turntable.
How many to be exact?
How many years I put behind the turntables?
Yeah.
20.
To be dang.
20.
I was 7 years old.
20 years behind the turntables. Yeah.
I was 7. And how many years ago since your first mixtape?
First mixtape ever? Like, did I actually
We doing some history real fast.
Did I actually sold?
Yeah.
1995.
Wow.
Yeah.
95, 05.
15, yeah. Well, actually, I'm sorry. 94.
Okay.
So,
it's been a long while.
So, yeah, so 20 years last year. So last year is when I retired, actually.
Oh.
Yeah. The 20-year mark. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so with that being said, how did you get into I just want to do a little, it's Black History Month.
Okay.
And I got a few things up my sleeve for Black History Month. It's going to be really decent. And I want to get some history on Baltimore's hip hop pioneers and coming up and DJs. And why not start my first show in February with you?
Okay.
I know I ain't tell you all this beforehand.
You did not.
I made it seem like it was just, real chill.
You tricked me.
Yeah, just a little bit.
I want
to get some bitches love trapping. Excuse my language. I'm trying to work on my language. Shout out to my mother. She's my biggest credit. Always. I messed up with my hair. She told me not to ever do that again. Okay, so from you doing music over 20 years, when did you get into radio? I never really knew I knew bits and pieces. You was here, Atlanta, you was moving, you was doing your thing. But when did you actually really get into radio?
Radio was a transition from the clubs. So I started making records first.
Right.
Then I started producing records, and DJing kind of was in the middle of producing records and being a recording artist for me.
Okay.
So I was working in a record store that was for DJs mainly. And I started to figure out what DJs liked, like what they bought. So this is a time when DJs came in the store to buy the music that they played. Actual records.
That you mix.
Yeah. So DJs would come in the store to buy records to play in the clubs, to play on the radio, to play at parties. And so I built a friendship with the DJs because I was selling them records.
Right.
Then I started to realize, okay, DJs like this. You don't like this. This sells. So I started making records for DJs to buy. So I started making like break beats and acapellas and stuff for DJs to mix. I started to do that. And I had a series of breakbeat records that sold well. And then I started to understand when you go to the club, what the girls like what they danced to, what they didn't like. And I started to understand that. So then I started going to the studio and I tried to make some of those records myself.
Okay.
Right. So I had a girlfriend at the time who liked to dance. So my goal, like in the club, like my goal was she was able to know if a record was hot or not. And so my goal was to try to make a record that she liked. Then I knew that I would have a record that would be hot. And so then we came with this record called Are You the Bomb, which she liked. And
wait a minute. Can we just do a little, for those of you at home that just went over your head a little bit, can you just?
No. You asking me to do the record?
No.
Oh, which one we do?
Is it the song I think it is?
So be like, "Are you the bomb? What? You the bomb? Excuse me.
Excuse me. Are you bomb?
Yeah. That was that record.
That's what I'm trying to get.
It was that record, right? It was that record. Okay. Yeah. So that record worked. And
that was you and who?
It's an artist named Fo.
Okay.
And the Spanish part was a girl that he was dating at the time, and yes, I mean, so we came up with the record. Right. He had another record, and so he came in a record. So he had another record that I wanted to make a remix for. So he told me I couldn't make a remix for that record because that was owned by somebody else. So he said, let's do a record together.
Right.
So he came up with the words and I did the music.
After he came up with the words. So you were good with actually physically mixing really well.
Making. So I at the time, I used a drum machine and to make the beat. We had a big board. So I worked the board. So of course I know how to do all that stuff. So I'm good. I'm a good remixer. So I can take it, like if you had a song, I can take the words and put it with a beat and come up with something for it. So yeah, I'm good at that part. All DJs have that ability if they know how to work. Well, I'm not gonna say all, but a lot of DJs know how to do that. They may not know that they know how to do that because you know what goes together and you can mix things together. So it's about blending sounds and drums and instruments.
Right.
Yeah.
So Are You the Bomb was your first like that really?
It was my first. It was the first. It was not my first record, but it was the first record that I did myself.
Right.
That I put out, that I promoted, that I produced, that I took from nothing and built it.
Right.
So we got that record added to many radio stations up and down the East
remember
Coast.
that. I was young, very young.
Yeah.
Especially
I was a teenager, but at the time. So
especially at like Drew Hill Park. I forgot what year it was. I was little, but they had the real big party in the park. And when that song came on, it's like everybody. Yeah,
it was a big record. I mean, we did a lot of shows, we did a lot of touring. Like I said, we shot the guy, just to tell you a funny story. So the guy who shot the video, because we actually did a music video. This is one of the first music videos that was done in Baltimore.
Right.
The guy who shot the video, his name is Chris Robinson. Okay. So he went on to direct ATL. He did the movie ATL with T.I. That's the one where they skating. Yeah. He did that. He did like some big films after that. But at the time, he was just want to come up like we was on to come up.
Right.
And so that's how that happened. Yeah. So
I didn't know that neither.
Yeah.
See, Black History Month. I'm learning some history here in Baltimore.
Yeah, and so after that, I got on a hot streak because I started feeling myself. Okay. So I said, "Oh, I'm the shit. I know what it. I got the magic touch.
I'm the bomb,
right?" And so I mean, we rode that, and then I remixed it, and we got Tony on the record, and then I started producing records for Miss Tony, and then we had Hey You Knuckleheads with Big Rhea, and that was a hit.
Wait a minute. So just in case that went over your head again, we had what?
Hey You Knuckleheads.
Hey You Knuckleheads.
Right. Walking down the avenue, right?
Walking down the avenue and few more streets and we'll be through a few more streets.
I'm gonna tell you something real funny about that. Now, do you know the whole song? You know the whole thing? Keep going the whole thing.
Keep going. And Dotfield.
There's a reason.
Murphy, Holmes, EEA, Greenmount,
Barkley, Walbrook, JCT,
Saratoga, and Evie.
Okay, just you don't know the words, but
maybe not.
But here's the thing. I specifically put Bernice in the song.
No, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Now the thing is that
makes sense.
Right. Of course, I lived on Bernice. I grew up on Bernice.
Right.
And so, of course, that's a small street in a very small neighborhood. And so I had to have that street.
So where was it in between?
So I would have to start from the beginning. But yeah, so she says Bernice Avenue didn't sound right, so we said Bernice Street.
Right.
But yes, it's absolutely in there. That's like only people from that neighborhood even
really
get
caught
that.
On.
Because a lot of times people was like, where's Bernice? What
Baltimore
is that?
Hilton, Baltimore Hilton.
Yeah. So, but I definitely put that. But Bernice is the street I grew up on, and that's in the song. And that was not like a big, neighborhood street like some of the other streets.
It wasn't. It was
a very small street.
The chill block. The very chill block compared to the turn.
It's actually one of the blocks in the neighborhood. It's just I don't know if it still is, but it was back in the day.
Well, it was when I lived around there.
Yeah. So, but actually, like I said, so from that record, I had other records. We had Horsemen. And we had a lot of records with them. I had Tap. Yeah, Shake That Ass Girl. We had Pussy Whip Me. We had a lot. Like that's part of a lot. I was part of a lot of records. And so from there, of course, I'm doing parties. I'm selling mixtapes. We selling a lot of mixtapes. So it's like stuff is rolling. And so the radio was just like a natural progression. I started DJing like weekends on V103.
Okay.
And
I remember that. That was Lil Mo.
No, it was before that. Lil Mo was on X105. So this is
Okay, that's
before
what it
that.
was. Okay.
Yeah, so this is before that. So this is in the 90s. And then so then that switched, and then worked with Mo on different things, and then
Right.
so it went to X, it went to 92Q, went to a lot of different things. PGC, like I worked at a lot of different places spinning club music, because that's what people just know me for is club music. So I would go to other cities and play club music, which some people will call house music, depending on where you're from. In DC, they call it house music. Here, it was a difference. And so I would, do that. And that was my thing. And so as I started doing mix shows, because I would do mixing or live broadcasts where I would play that type of music.
Right.
It just kind of started to progress from there. And I was just a party DJ. And every now and then they would let us say something on the mic, but they wouldn't let me like straight up talk. Like just kind of like send your shout outs or, that kind of thing.
Right.
In 2007, I started to actually crack the mic more and started with internet radio in 2007.
Okay.
And so I did my show, and then I just kind of spiraled, and then we built a network with other shows.
Right.
Which is where we are now.
Okay, so you said you started doing internet radio
in 2007.
A lot of people always ask me a lot of questions about why you on the internet? Why you not on 92Q? Why you do this? Why you do that? My easiest way, long story short, is the freedom.
Yeah. So
for you coming from
definitely
working with stations and doing this and doing that to internet, what was the advantage you gained?
The advantage of internet over commercial radio.
Yeah.
Like you said, you definitely have the freedom. There is restrictions. So commercial radio is a business. Right. So you have to do whatever. It's an advertised based vehicle. So they want commercials, and they want people to advertise so they can reach their listeners.
Right.
So that's what it's about. They have a playlist. Every station in the country that are owned, they're only owned by like 4 or 5 different companies own all the stations, and they all play the same music because it's a playlist, and they feel as though people are turning the station and they get in the car, listen for a little while, and turn. Right. Listen and turn. So you keep hearing the same songs over and over again because they feel as though you're gonna keep turning, and maybe you'll turn back to them, and they want to be playing the songs that you like to try to keep you. So it's not about breaking records for the commercial radio. It's not about that.
That's bulletin 1. It's not about breaking no records at all.
It's about playing songs that are popular for the demographic that they're trying to reach. So if it's older folks, then it's about playing songs that they like.
Right.
If it's younger people, it's about playing the turn up music. It just depends on who they're trying to reach. Now, internet, you can do what you want to do.
Right.
So that's just the difference. You don't have now. Maybe the internet station that you're at may have a certain group that they're trying to reach, and they may have rules like that, but they don't. It's not the strict guidelines of commercial radio.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for those of you who always ask that question, that's a breakdown, because I don't give breakdowns. I just be like,
and let me say this. Let me say this one last thing. Commercial radio is going to go away.
Absolutely.
Because I'm going to say in 10 years, commercial radio is going to be gone. It's going to be like a magazine,
right,
or a newspaper. It's going to be around, but you ain't paying attention to it,
right?
Because everybody is on the internet. You're on your internet on your phone. In 5 years, everybody is going to have internet in their car. It's just going to be, you're going to be on the internet in your car.
Right.
And, so commercial radio is trying to play catch up with that. You remember I was talking about record stores.
Yeah.
Record stores are gone. There are no record stores. You go to iTunes or you go on Pandora or wherever you go at online to listen to your music. You're not going in a physical store to buy a CD anymore or a DVD. They're out there, but they're not selling like they used to. And soon they're not going to sell. So people are going to be on the internet, like I said, in the car, on your phone, wherever, and you're going to be watching what you want to watch or listening to what you want to listen to, not what the radio says that you got to listen to.
Absolutely. So listen, before I go